Today is March 10th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It's a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today, out of the Big Book, we're going to be reading The Pioneer of AA, number 4, Our Southern Friend, pages 208 and 209. And out of the 12 and 12, we will be beginning Step 9. We'll read the first half of page 83 today. So with all that, my friends, let's get right to the good stuff. All right, my friends, so we're in new territory today. We are on Pioneer number 4. So again, these pioneers are people who have died sober. These are the early days of AA. So we get a little Southern flavor in this one, and definitely reminds me of where I'm at today. some of the dialogue and everything. But I absolutely love it. So excited to get that started. We're going to read 208 and 209 today. Number 4, Our Southern Friend. Pioneer AA, minister's son, and Southern farmer, he asked, "Who am I to say there's no God?" Father's an Episcopal minister, and his work takes him over long drives on bad roads. His parishioners are limited in number, but his friends are many. For to him, race, creed, and social position makes no difference. It's not long before he drives up in the buggy. Both he and old Maud are glad to get home. The drive was long and cold, but he was thankful for the hot bricks that some thoughtful person had given him for his feet. Soon supper is on the table. Father says grace, which delays my attack on the buckwheat cakes and sausage. Bedtime comes. I climb into my room in the attic. It's cold, so there's no delay. I crawl under a pile of blankets and blow out the candle. The wind's rising and howls around the house. But I'm safe and warm. I fall into a dreamless sleep. I am in church. Father's delivering his sermon. A wasp is crawling up the back of the lady in front of me, and I wonder if it'll reach her neck. Shucks, flew away. At last, the message has been delivered. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. I hunt for my nickel to drop in the plate so that mine will be seen. I'm in another fellow's room at college. "Freshman," he said to me, "do you ever take a drink?" I hesitated. Father had never directly spoken to me about drinking, but he never drank any, so far as I knew. Mother hated liquor and feared a drunken man. Her brother had been a drinker, and he died in a state hospital for the insane. But his life was unmentioned, so far as I was concerned. I had never had a drink, but I'd seen enough merrymen and boys who were drinking to be interested. I'd never be like the village drunkard at home. "Well," said the older boy, "do you?" "Once in a while," I lied. I couldn't let him think I was a sissy. He poured out 2 drinks. "Here's looking at you," he said. I gulped it down and choked. I didn't like it, but I wouldn't say so. A mellow glow stole over me. This wasn't so bad after all. Sure, I'd have another. The glow increased. Other boys came in. My tongue loosened. Everybody laughed loudly. I was witty. I had no inferiorities. Why, I wasn't even ashamed of my skinny legs. This was the real thing. A haze filled the room. The electric light began to move. Then 2 bulbs appeared. The faces of the other boys grew dim. How sick I felt. I staggered to the bathroom. Shouldn't have drunk so much or so fast. But I knew how to handle it now. I'd drink like a gentleman after this. And so I met John Barleycorn, the grand fellow who at my call made me a hail fellow well met, who gave me such a fine voice as we sang, "Hail, hail, the gang's all here," and sweet Adeline, who gave me freedom from fear and feelings of inferiority. Good old John. He was my pal, all right. All right, I love the tone of this passage right here. Looking forward to getting back to that in a second. All right, so we are beginning Step 9 today out of the 12 and 12, which is made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when do so would injure them or others. All right, so let's get right to it. We're on page 83. We'll read the first 2 paragraphs today. Good judgment, a careful sense of timing, courage, and prudence. These are the qualities we shall need when we take Step 9. After we've made the list of people we've harmed, have reflected carefully upon each instance, and have tried to possess ourselves of the right attitude in which to proceed, we will see that the making of direct amends divides those we should approach into several classes. There will be those who ought to be dealt with just as soon as we become reasonably confident that we can maintain our sobriety. There will be those to whom we can make only partial restitution, lest complete disclosures do them or others more harm than good. And there will be other cases where action ought to be deferred, and still others in which, by the very nature of the situation, we shall never be able to make direct personal contact at all. Alright, so while this is fresh, step 9, this is an interesting one. I love the breakdown of the step too, and made direct amends to such people wherever possible. So if we can do it face to face, direct, that's a wonderful thing. And sometimes my higher power will line things right up, whether I want to face it or not. There's that person in the grocery store or the gas station that you owe an amends to. It's hard to pass that opportunity up. But it's also got a caveat at the end, except when to do so would injure them or others. A friend of mine, a very trusted friend of mine, he would tell me a lot of times, don't just do things because it clears your own conscience. Consider the other people that are involved. Is this a good idea? Is this going to do more harm than good? And I really appreciate that breakdown. And I like here, this kind of goes back to what good old Joe and Charlie said too, that depends on the instance of whether these amends need to be direct, indirect, whether they need to be made now, later, or perhaps never, at least in a direct sense. And going back over to the big book, love our southern friend here, like I said, I'm a Jersey boy, but I've moved down south, and I've been down south actually more than half my life now, and I just love the dialect in this passage. But southern culture, northern culture, doesn't matter. The bottom line is he feels the same way about alcohol that I did. Love his description here. I never had a drink, but I'd seen enough merriment in the boys who were drinking to be interested. And then he just starts describing that first drink. He goes, a mellow glow stole over me. This wasn't so bad after all. Sure, I'd have another. The glow increased. He gets sick. He gets drunk. Just like I did. I got drunk. I got really nauseous. I got really sick. And I thought to myself, well, next time, I just didn't know. I didn't know. Now I know when to stop. I should have known from day one I was an alcoholic. But yeah, so far, things are merry. So far, he's feeling pretty good about things. I wonder if that's going to last. But all right, my friends, that's all we have for today. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or any other sect or organization or anything like that. I am just a grateful recovering alcoholic. So grateful just to be here reading this big book with you and the 12 and 12 each and every day. By the way, thank you. I don't really look at the stats too much, but it's pretty cool to see that somehow this little podcast is being streamed in Italy and Turkey and a few other countries as well. It's really neat just to see that. So from one friend in recovery to another, thank you so much for listening. And it's really humbling to know that people around the world are listening. I mean, I'm already beyond thankful and grateful that just a handful of people are listening. All I was hoping for was one. And even if I didn't have that one, this is helping me. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Hope you all have a blessed day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you back here tomorrow.